the words of our Prime Minister, how good is coal?
You crazy mother.
G'day and welcome back to the channel. It's been a very long time since I've been in here. The weather's cooling down, it's autumn here in Australia, and it's time to fire up the forge and get a shine on this anvil. What do you reckon? Before I even start, let's tidy this place up a little bit and get it ready to fire up. I need to go and find my blower. I'll give this anvil a clean up, give the hammers and bits and pieces a bit of a buff, and pretty them up a little bit. Might even throw some oil on the old anvil. So let's do that first. That looks a little bit better. London anvil from the 1830s. So she's rough as guts, but solid as a rock. Let's do some blacksmithing. Tell you what, she's been a while. I wonder if there's any possums up there. Not anymore. How good is coal? So while that's crack-a-lackling along, let me tell you what we're making. A new friend of mine found out I did a bit of blacksmithing once upon a time and said, man, can you make me a jitte or a jitte or a jitte or a... I think it's called a jitte. I was like, yeah man, as soon as it cools down, I'm keen to get back into it, and doing a little bit of research on it. I've not really found anyone making them. So I've just been looking at pictures, and it looks like a fairly easy project and a good one to get back into my blacksmithing hobby, because it has been a very long time. So basically they were a tool used in Japan against people that were holding samurai swords. So there was a little hook at one end which basically caught the sword as it come down. You could control the sword. There's talks of being able to snap a sword with it, I don't know. But it was for law enforcement, for police and other people, so whatever they called them back in those days. So my friend's right into martial arts. He said, please, can you make me one? I said, sure thing. For the first stage, we're just going to run a taper up this end with a rounded edge at the front, and then we'll work out the length later. Still got a little bit of time before the coal's ready. We'll have a bit of a poke around, then we'll get Prudence to hit the music and we'll get into it. While we're waiting for that, let's see if the old power hammer will fire up, eh? That's been a long time. I don't use it, it's too noisy. The motor's running all right. Yep, still works. Righto, hit the music, Prudence. So the blade part, going to call it the blade. There's nothing to it really. It's a little fish mouth on the end. I'm going to leave that there. It's part of the blacksmithing process, and I'm not taking that away. And I've just put an ever so slight taper on the shaft and then hammered marks on it as well. So just lightly hammered, so it's all looks like it's been blacksmithed, which just makes it look a little bit more authentic. And what I'm working on now is the spike out the end. So that's going to be a little bit more work. I'll tell you what, I've forgotten how full on it is on your arms. It's tiring. Alright, so I'm happy with that. That's turned out pretty good. I just want to do a little bit more work on this and maybe do something with the end of the handle. And then we can assemble it. Simple as that. Happy with that. Very happy. So I need to wrap the handle, need some leather, tons in an old leather glove. The handle's not amazing, but I'm not imagining they were too amazing 500 years ago, or however long it was. I'm going to put some stain on that and call it a day. There you go. She's done. I'm happy with that. My first forge work for probably a year and a half, and It was more work than I expected actually, but it came up all right. It's not designed to look like a new tool. It's designed to look hundreds of years old as a display piece. And I'm really happy how that's super tight on there, the way I fitted it. She's heated on there and she ain't moving at all. Even when I stamped it with my mark, it didn't move. She's on tight, and I was kind of worried. I didn't want to weld it, and it did work out pretty good. She's a press fit. So yeah, that's it. That's the Jitte, or Jutte, or Jute, or Jitte, or Jitte, I don't know. But I hope he's happy with that. And that's it from me. I'm hoping to spend more time in the forge, and the plan was way back when I stopped doing it back after my back started to muck up and all that sort of stuff, was to make some really high quality stuff, and that's still the goal. I want to make some nice knives and bits and pieces, but I still use the forge for making stuff for my cars, and that's my main passion. But yeah, bit of fun. No worries. Well, that's it from me. Stay tuned. Be good to your mates. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Be cool. See you later.